Visually, there's certain scenes that really jump out to me, and that's why I kind of picked it from the trailer, but I realized it's because they stitched together all of the fun looking shots.
Trailers per usual.
Yeah,
they something else.
They didn't put in the, probably a cumulative hour of just silence. Welcome to Camp Counselors, a More Butter production where we discuss, debate, and inform each other about the best and worst campy movies out there. I am your co-host, reoccurring co-host, Kennie JD, and I'm joined by Mista GG.
Hey, guys.
Or Mike.
Well, what's going on? We're here today for another Camp Counselors episode. Very exciting things, Kenny. I saw that you had some really cool news, that you had a BuzzFeed article.
I did.
Out there. Any thoughts?
It was one of the most humbling experiences I've had because I didn't realize how annoying I'd sound when someone asked me about what it feels like to be a content creator. Mm-hmm. Like, it's an ongoing joke now because they were like, if you could use one word to describe yourself as a content creator, what would you say? And I said, uninhibited, and it feels very like Julia Fox. Like, I'm uninhibited. So, but it was really cool. Hopefully I can finally get verified on some things because I'm shockingly not verified on most social media. I think it's because no one's trying to pose as me anywhere. So it's like not like there's any confusion, I guess.
I thought you were verified on Twitter. Am I bugging? I guess
I'm verified on YouTube and Spotify. Those are the only two places I'm actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because like I dabble in music here and there, and so they you have to do it regardless, I think. So it's like, is this you? And I'm like, yeah, and then that's the end of it. But like Twitter, there's like a whole process where it's like, do you have articles about yourself? Like, when you say you're a public figure, like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like,
I think I tried it one time and I got swiftly denied. But they told me the reason why I got denied was like, oh, you need 100K followers. If you don't, suck it. But I was like, that's not fucking true.
Yeah, that's not true.
I think it was because of the choice I chose, like the way you define yourself as a celebrity or whatever the fuck. They were like, oh yeah, no, in that category, need 100K, buddy. Sorry. But I also still don't believe that, but whatever.
I don't believe that either. Then, okay, so you're not verified either. All right. I think Amanda's the only one that's verified out of all of us.
Amanda sucks, boo.
Sucks, boo.
You're not here to defend yourself, boo.
I will say, though, we did our first Camp Counselors together, and that was actually a mess, and it was so much fun. So I'm glad that people enjoyed the mess regardless, and that's probably where we're going to bring it for this episode, because today we're talking about an art film of sorts. Yeah. A British psychological horror film by the name of Possum that Mike lodged our way. Side note, I still find it funny.
Throw it on me right away. That's cool. So this is his suggestion. Just want to let everybody know.
I am not claiming this because like, also, side note, I still love the joke that everyone doesn't know that your name is Mike. Every time it comes up, I'm like, that shit is hilarious. But we were talking about possibly doing some disturbing film, and Mike lodged over a few choices, and I just kind of randomly chose, and that's how we got to Possum. But we're in for a treat, I guess. I think just two confused people going on. I give you movies that are inanimate objects that kill people, and Mike gives us the disturbing element.
It's a good balance. It's what everyone looks forward to.
But how did you find Possum?
So all I did was type in movies like antiviral because I liked the discussion that came from that. And then whatever the fuck came up, I started looking at all of them and looking at the quick descriptions. I was like, yeah, that's why I sent you like a list of 5. Pick one of these. They came back with some answers. One of them was Possum. So it was kind of a mutual agreement if you really want to look at it in like a technical standpoint, but like
technically, I well, here's the thing, because you sent over the list and I watched like like just skimmed through the trailers of each of them, and this one was very like visually intriguing to me, especially when you cut out the rest of the movie and just give me the intriguing parts of it. But the actual viewing experience was an experience. But before we get on that, though, we got to make sure to remind the people to subscribe on YouTube and the More Butter channel and follow us on Spotify. We're trying to, be in the top 50 film and TV because it's always a fun place to be. Get us to the #1 spot. Also give us 5-star ratings because we really appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah.
So Possum is a
first takes.
Just small little snippets. A 2018 British psychological horror film, written and directed by Matthew Holness in his feature film debut. So I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was just going to be a very traditional horror movie, maybe with like some kooky elements where I'm like, whoa, this is so fucking gnarly, dude. It wasn't that. It wasn't. I wanted it to be that, and it wasn't that. That could maybe add to my disappointment with the movie because I finished the movie and I didn't know what to. I don't know. It just wasn't. It wasn't like, oh, okay. It wasn't like a, oh, damn, that's crazy. Like, I got nothing out of it. I didn't like the movie. I didn't like the movie.
Did you also have to read a Wikipedia article to actually know what the hell is going on? Because that's what I did.
I immediately typed in Possum explained on YouTube. So I was like, all right, someone give me all the info so I can be like, oh, you know what? Actually, now I appreciate this movie. It still didn't do it, though.
No.
Still didn't do it for me.
I actually did the same thing. I think we had, that's what we were saying. We probably watched the same video. Yeah. With a dude with an Irish accent who was explaining the complexities and the dark nuance of the film, which is well and good on him. Great video article.
And all the nerdy shit he liked about it.
And all I was really watching the video like, wow, this video essay is incredibly in depth for what the fuck I just watched. I don't know how you really got here. But, well, let's, I guess, a quick, if we can even do it quickly, run through of vaguely what the movie is about. It's about this man named Philip, who is a disgraced children's puppeteer who returns to his childhood home and is forced to confront the abuse and trauma he suffered there, which is a very concise and whittled down explanation of what the viewing experience actually is, because we don't know why he gets fired, but there is this kind of element around him being a bit of a creeper and him not really being let around children. But there's also a child that goes missing named Michael, if I'm not mistaken. And taking the attention away from our mic. And throughout the movie, we're kind of wondering if Philip had anything to do with it. But come to find out, the person that ended up kidnapping the child and who ends up being a bit of a tormentor throughout the film is Philip's uncle, Maurice. I was about to forget his name. Maurice.
Morris, as he's called in the movie.
Morris. Yeah. And then throughout the movie, Philip is trying to be rid of himself of this puppet that he has. That is like this. I will say the puppet was effectively creepy to me. And the puppet has a head on it that looks like Philip and these like spider legs. And throughout the movie, you see him trying to get rid of it as much as possible, but it just keeps reappearing in some way. And that is essentially the movie when it all culminates in, I guess, Philip owning his trauma and accepting his trauma, fighting off Maurice, killing him, and saving
You
Michael.
Sound so bored right now.
Because I am! The whole movie bored the fuck out of me.
It was a metaphor. You didn't get it, Kenny. You didn't get it.
I actually did.
Deep, okay? That's gotta be on another plane. You don't get it.
This is how I feel whenever I talk to art people. It's like, I just don't think you saw the vision. And it's like, I did. I get it. Yeah, trauma. Cool. That you can't get rid of. Yeah.
I love how much you didn't respect the movie at all. Like, you didn't even call for a spoiler warning at all when you were saying that. You went straight to the ending. Didn't give a single fuck. You were like, this is it. This is what happens.
Because it's an hour. It's like an hour and a half of just saying, like, is something gonna happen? And then, like, we have, like, a jump scare every, like, give or take 35, 40 minutes. And it's just like, it was torturous. It felt like a very particularized slow burn that I was like, is it gonna go somewhere? And when it finally does, it's so abrupt and then it's over. And I'm like, okay. That's it.
I know this is going to come off a certain way to people regardless, right? But I was way more interested in the actual story of the puppet, and just like, if there wasn't a metaphor in place, I was like, this is fucking cool. And I was watching it and I was into it and I was like, I want to know what's happening. It keeps coming back. Dude, this is nuts. Like, what is it? Like, is it supernatural? Is it maybe it's like a figment of his imagination, or like something weird's in the air in town? Because like the town is so just like barren, desolate, and fucking just there's nothing there. It's like there's a story here and people are looking at him weird. That puppeteer shit was probably crazy. But then it kept going on with that. And I was like, okay. And then Maurice fucking kept talking. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get, okay, is this going to this direction? And then at the end, when he's shoving his fingers down his mouth, spoiler alert, and just being fucking weird as shit and spanking him with his trousers down. It didn't do it for me. It wasn't the home run I was waiting for. I just personally didn't like it. I'm not trying. I hate when I have to shit on an artsy film because then I know there's pricks in the audience who think not our audience, of course,
not our audience, but certainly other people
would think like, oh, you just like Marvel movies with bright colors and loud sound effects, and it's like, no, that's not what it is. I just didn't like this personal movie. It's rated very well on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 90% from the critics, 52% audience score.
Wow, that's higher than I would expect, honestly, from audiences. Yeah. Even if you're like showing it at like a very pretentious art festival, even like, I feel like in a way that there is, this movie feels like a gauntlet. That's it. It just feels like, okay, we're following him along, trying to get rid of this puppet. And once you finally, like after the second time or so, you notice like, oh, okay, this puppet just keeps reappearing. And okay, so there's something going on with that. But it like you get at like 45 minutes, I checked, and I was like, this is the longest 45 minutes I've ever witnessed a movie. And we get to like, I remember distinctly, we got to an hour and 14 minutes, and the movie's only about an hour and 25 minutes. So, and some of that is credits. And we get to 10 minutes before the movie ends, and I'm like, is anything gonna fucking happen? Like, goddamn. And then something finally does. And it's just like, oh, shocker, Maurice was the person kidnapping children and also abused him. And it's like, I assumed that, I guess, at some point. And then it's just this like jarring him being creepy. And then even how he dies again is ultimately incredibly unsatisfying. Like, he snaps his neck and that's it. There was no like cathartic, I don't know. Maybe I want blood or something. I don't know. But I was expecting something more like worthy of all this time we spent building up the suspense.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie sucks. And I'm sorry. Like, I just, maybe if I had more like, I don't know, like stamina to just sit and watch slow burn art film, maybe this wouldn't bother me as much. But it was bad. So
I think it was one of those. Sorry, shoot.
Oh, no, good. Oh, no, I was just going to say, maybe there's some like good things that you noted along the way.
I was going to give it a backhanded compliment just now. And I was going to say, I would have loved if this movie was shorter I'm not saying it had to be, right? Yeah, I'm sure if I spoke to people who really like this movie, they'd be like, well, no, it needs to be this long because of A, B, and C. But I would have loved this as a short film. I would have even loved it as something maybe even in like the ABCs of Death anthology, because I think this could have hit much harder if, because in fucking like 10 minutes, I'm not going to figure out what the twist is, right? But then if it ends with that, I'm like, oh, this is fucking cool. I like this concept a lot. But as this long of a movie, I get there's a lot of cool shots. It looks nice, a lot of cool shit. It's dope. It's his feature debut. You know, it's good for him. That's awesome. I'm sure he's got a bright future ahead of him. She's probably made other films. I'm not paying attention. I don't know, but not the one for me. Not my recommendation. I'm sure some of you in the audience will love this film. I'm not one of those people. It kind of sounds like Kenny's not one of those people.
I am not.
Taking a guess here.
I will definitively say no.
But yeah,
I'll just lay it on the line.
Shout out, Ryan Hollinger is the guy that Kenny was referring to, the Irish guy who made a video talking about it. Maybe watch that if you've seen the movie. He makes it sound extraordinary. So
yeah, he makes it sound. That's what I mean. I was like, did we watch the same movie? How did you get to this like incredible, like? Well, I do recognize that there is, because I guess some of the art film nerds will be like, well, you know, it's him being chased down by his trauma, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I am aware of that. And still, this movie was a grueling experience. I will say, though, visually, it's cool. Sometimes, like, there's certain scenes that really jump out to me, and that's why I kind of picked it from the trailer. But I realize it's because they stitched together all of the fun-looking shots.
Trailers, per usual.
Yeah,
they something else.
They didn't put in the, you know, probably a cumulative hour of just silence. That's another component that's really grueling about the movie. And maybe that lends to some of its horror, but like there's very few words said by anybody in this movie. And so large stints of it is just silence and watching him walk through leaves, or watching him walk through the street, or watching him walk somewhere else. And it's just like, okay, yeah, good, great. And but there's some visually compelling scenes. I like the black rain that was raining on him. I like the puppet itself. Going back to that, the puppet is freaky. I'm not into spiders, so that doubly freaked me out. Any scene that was really focused on it. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's a wrap, guys. Thank you for watching Camp.
This podcast is sponsored by Jarritos. Yes, that's right, the delicious Jarritos, which has 12 flavors, including strawberry mango tamarind, mandarin Jamaica, Jamaica, grapefruit, lime, Mexican cola, and more. My favorite flavor is tamarind. That's why it's front and center right over here. It comes in a glass bottle, no HFCS, all natural flavors made with real sugar. So get the Jarritos Fiesta Packs at Walmart to try every flavor. Link is in the description. And thank you, Jarritos, for sponsoring this podcast.
No. I kind of look at this as the equivalent of like in music. I hear people criticize J. Cole a lot because they're like, oh, he's boring, whatever the fuck. And it's like, nah, dude, you just gotta listen to what he's saying. And it's like, I can appreciate what he's saying, but I don't want to play this in the car. It's like, okay, that's fair. I kind of have that same feeling with this. Like when I heard Ryan talk about this, and I saw another thing too, kind of talking about everything inside the movie, and I was like, I can appreciate everything you guys are saying. I'm not calling you liars. I very much think all those things are put in there purposely. It's very fucking cool. I'm more interested hearing you talk about it than I am watching the movie. I don't want to go back and watch the movie either to now appreciate all those factors, because I'm not, because I did it on the initial run. I'm not a fucking phony. I'm not gonna be like, oh, now I'm into everything in the atmosphere.
Oh, I see the message.
No, it doesn't call out to me, and I just really like the scene near the end where he's actually being chased down by the puppet. You know, fucking quotation marks. Because it looks fucking cool. and it looks genuinely fucking creepy. It doesn't look weird, even for like a slightly goofy looking puppet. Looks really fucking dope. Love that scene.
Yep. I am curious, like, how they got a cast of his face because it looks like him. And,
definitely does.
To completely rip off the video, who was it again? The person who made the video on it, Ryan Hollinger.
Ryan Hollinger. Shout out Ryan Hollinger.
Shout outs to Ryan Hollinger. But he kind of brought up that because the puppet does look like him, it's not just his trauma. It could also be interpreted as his own self-hatred. And I was like, that's dope. I see that. I'm with you there. So like his constant desire to be rid himself of it is also to some degree his own issue with his own self. And being that we don't really know his background much, we don't know why he lost his job. We can't really understand to what degree he is like the innocent bystander of his uncle who's been committing crimes, or if he is unfortunately the result of the abuse of his uncle and also continue to perhaps perpetuate some violence against kids. But you see how that was more intriguing of a like nuanced psychological question than actually watching the movie. Like, I'm all for, like, I actually find it incredibly impressive that anyone can make this movie sound more interesting than it actually is. And for that, I applaud you again, people on Wikipedia that made it sound more interesting. People like Ryan Hollinger that was able to make a beautiful YouTube essay off of it.
Let's go, Ryan.
But let's go, Ryan. I called him Brian just now. Ryan.
Let's go, Ryan. No, I've seen some of Ryan's other videos. Honestly, I recognize his voice right away. He's a good content creator.
I ended up going down his a few of his other videos, and I found one where Arnold Schwarzenegger was fighting Satan, and I was like, okay, that sounds like a movie worth seeing. So I'm gonna have to watch that video. I have it in my list of things to watch over the weekend, because that sounds great.
Yeah, probably. I haven't seen the movie, but I'd take that over Possum. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I've had when I had the Leprechaun podcast with Amanda, I think I told her that was the worst movie I saw, and now
really
I think Leprechaun has been dethroned. If I had to choose, if I was in a room chained up and they were like, you have to rewatch one of the movies you watched on Camp Counselors, I'm not choosing Possum. I'd rewatch Leprechaun. And sorry guys.
I do feel like to some degree the movie does feel like a challenge in and of itself. Like if you really want to see like someone from beginning to end focus on this movie, I think it is something to challenge them with. Like, no, you can't look at your phone. No, you can't go to the bathroom. Sit here for an hour.
It's just
and
torture.
25 minutes.
That's what you're describing.
It's torture. Like, it's so slow and they don't say anything. And then also, like, when they do say things, I can barely hear it. I'm also one of those people that watch everything with like English like subtitles on it, like closed captioning. Just because, like, I just don't want to miss anything. And even the things that I was, like, listening to didn't match up with the subtitles at all. So I was like, am I missing, like, a whole... And maybe that's the point of the movie. Because, like, so many things are just, like, alluded to. And you're supposed to, I guess, extrapolate what's going on with him with very little base information. And at some point, it's just like, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care about anything happening to him. I just need this movie to end. And again, you go an hour and 14 minutes where not a damn thing happens. And it is torturous. And I stand by that. But if you can figure out how to perhaps whittle it down, again, if it were turned into a short, I think this would be a very good short film. I believe it was based off of a short story, so maybe there it had more of like a concise, like it had the things that are necessary to put us as an audience into the film so that we understand like every action and what it truly means. But not well. Now I sound like, well, you need to explain everything better. But like, I understand that some things are left purposely ambiguous, but to such an extent, it's like, wow, I am bored. But apparently we're not. Apparently we're in the minority in regards to like people that truly don't like it.
I would say we're definitely in the minority. I don't know. I'm not against artsy films, and I know people could probably call bullshit on that, but even something like even something shit like Begotten. If you watch Begotten ever,
I couldn't get through it. I didn't know what was. I got through like maybe 10 minutes, and I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah, Begotten's like miles below this, so I'm not gonna disrespect this movie like that. But like that's revered as like an art film. I'm like, bro, you don't like Begotten? No, why the fuck would I watch that ever? It's such a horrible just mangling of nothing. I don't care that there's like oh, it's symbolism. I don't give a shit. That does not carry the film. I don't want to sit there for an hour and a half. I'm constantly checking the time to be like, excuse me, why is this taking so long? I don't want
I will
that.
just watch the Spooky Rice edit. Thank you. I do not want to actually sit here and
I'm with you on that.
It. But apparently, though, it won Best Actor. I will give him that. For Sean Harris, is that the main character? I believe so. He did as much as you can in a movie like this. He did a good job as an actor. So I need to actually give him his flowers on that, because he certainly made me uncomfortable. And I think that was the point. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like everything felt real and surreal. So I guess, again, that's a talent in and of itself, bringing that in. Won Best Supporting Actor with Alun Armstrong. And Best Cinematography, and all of these were at the Brooklyn Horror Film Festival Award.
Yeah, I like both the actors. I didn't have any issue with the actors. I just I think one of the videos I saw said that it might have been Ryan's video where he said that they purposely didn't talk offset to like have a very like legitimate shit chemistry on camera, because that's what they were supposed to have. They weren't supposed to be friends or buddies in any kind of way. Like they were supposed to be this weird, estranged family members.
And that definitely cool. that was definitely palpable on screen. Like at no point was I like, wow, I believe. It's not that any point was I wasn't ever taken out by acting or by. They actually both did incredible, actually. Especially because so much of the movie is dependent on nonverbal dialogue. It is mostly just like what you see on screen, what emotions you see, what actions are taking place. It's virtually a silent film for the most part. But that is really hard to sit through for an hour and a half. When oftentimes it's just like people just it's just mostly people doing the same things that they've done in other scenes just to cement that this is the reason why they're doing it. Again, getting rid of the puppet and it continually coming back. And at some point after you threw it away 12 times, we know that we know. So yeah,
It's funny. I knew I wasn't going to say too many good things about this film when we came to talk about this, but I didn't realize we would literally just trash it for half an hour.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what it ended up being. I'm scared to ask,
okay,
what is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being tent on fire, 10 being delicious s'more, your thoughts on that?
I'm leaning towards like a 1.5, 2.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the only thing that is keeping it from going like, well, no, I'll give it a 2.5. And because visually it's really nice, I think, again, the acting is really good, but the actual enjoyability factor is not there for me. It's bad. I'll give it like 2.5. because the acting is really good and the cinematography is pretty good too. So
that's fair. Okay. Low score. Is that the lowest score you've dished out?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I rated Leprechaun. I think this is a 3. Maybe someone will say I rated Leprechaun lower, but I think I'm gonna put this at a 3. It's just, even if Leprechaun is like this shittier, just more flawed film, which it is, I still would rather watch that though than this. That's how like fucky this sounds and how dumb it sounds like saying it out loud. But,
I am curious if anyone ends up watching it after this, would they be able to find the unapparent wonder in it that maybe me and you have missed? Because I'm sure they'll put it down in the comment section.
I'd be very surprised if they listen to our half-hour podcast of absolutely just dumping on this movie, and they're like, I gotta watch it. Hey, they said it's the most boring thing ever for an hour and a half. Say less. I'm on the way.
Because people are masochists. They'll be like, it can't be that bad. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And they get like 12 minutes in. Oh, fuck. Okay. They weren't kidding. But let's send it away. Send it home, Mike.
All right. So, yeah, that's all we got to say about the movie Possum. If you guys would like to watch it, feel free to do so. We do not encourage it whatsoever, but make sure to follow More Butter on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, and of course, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe on YouTube. I am Mr. GG. I am joined by Kennie JD.
Where can they find you, Mike?
She's got her own show on More Butter TV. It's called
I Do
In Defense Of. If you guys want to check that out, that's a lot of fun.
That's also a lot of fun. Where can they find you, Mike, on social media and also on YouTube?
Oh, gee, thanks for asking, Kenny. You can find me, Miss GG, on YouTube. I upload hilarious videos, and you can follow me on Twitter at the Mr. GG. That is THE Mr. GG. Thank you.
Because someone stole it.
Yeah. Where can they find you, Kennie JD?
You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. All of those are also Kennie JD. And we thank you for joining us here today, even though it was a pretty negative review. Maybe we'll come back with something more exciting next time.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the Camp Counselors podcast. As always, do not forget to butter your popcorn. Thank you guys.
Ew. Innuendo.